In this lesson, we will be discussing passing the NCLEX RN exam. Upon completing this lesson, you should be able to discuss the development of the NCLEX RN, compare the differences between the NCLEX RN and the NCLEX PN, apply evidence-based strategies to achieve NCLEX RN success. The National Council of State Boards of Nursing was created from the American Nurse Association to protect the public interest. The National Council of State Boards of Nursing created the NCLEX exam to ensure that nurses have skills to maintain the minimum standard for practice. Prior to the mid-1990s, the NCLEX was administered in large groups at regional testing centers with paper and pencil. The test took up to 2 days to complete and was proctored closely by pacing officials. Waiting for a test date or the results could take months. This process changed with computerized adaptive testing, also known as CAT. With CAT, the student's answer to each question determines whether the next question will be easier or more difficult. CAT, or Computer Adaptive Testing, estimates the test taker's ability each time he or she answers a question. Subsequent questions are made either more difficult or easier depending on the previous answer. The computer uses one of three means to determine whether the test taker's ability meets or exceeds the passing standards or whether they don't pass. The test is updated frequently, as is the minimum passing standard, which was raised in 2010. The NCLEX RN exam is basically pass or fail. The computer will continue to test until it determines with 95% confidence that ability either surpasses or does not meet the minimum passing standard. The length, if you're by the 265th question, the computer has not been able to determine within a 95% confidence that the student has either clearly passed or failed. In other words, it's right on the borderline. The computer will then estimate ability as either pass or fail. Remember, the student must meet or exceed the standard to pass. Looking at the time limit, if students run out of time before they have completed at least 75 questions, the computer will determine that they have failed. If they have answered at least 75 questions, the computer will evaluate the last 60 ability calculations. And as long as each and every one exceeds the minimum passing standard, the computer will determine that they have passed. Number of questions can range anywhere from 75 to 265. Every 3 years, the NCLEX RN exam is analyzed to ensure that it reflects the expectations of a newly licensed entry-level nurse. The latest test plan can be found online at www.ncsbn.org. This is just a few examples. The test consists of multiple choice questions, fill in the blank, calculations, and analysis questions. Because the accuracy of the answer to each question prompts the subsequent question, no two exams are alike. This is an example of a multiple response question. This is an example of fill in the blank. This is an example of a hotspot question. In other words, they'll ask you to click in a specific spot depending on what the question is. And this is an example of drag and drop or ordered response. Okay, let's look at practice question number 1. Which statement indicates the nurse has an accurate understanding of the NCLEX RN exam? 1. The test is primarily composed of essay questions. 2. There is a total of 250 questions on the NCLEX RN test. 3. Management of care has the highest percentage of questions. Or 4. To pass the exam, I need to answer only questions from basic care. Have you come up with an answer? Number 3, management of care has the highest percentage of questions. According to the test plan, management of care has 17 to 28% of the questions. Studying for the NCLEX RN exam should include several testing strategies, from notes and textbooks to a review program to a prep book. Critical thinking skills are imperative to a successful examination. CATS stand for Knowledge Base, Anxiety Control, and Test-Taking Strategies. All three components are critical for successful completion of the NCLEX RN exam. Improving knowledge and skill by taking several practice exams of increasing difficulty. Reduce anxiety by adding more questions to a drill within a specified time period, and strategizing by pacing the time for each question during the test will all make the time before and during the test much less stressful. CATS framework include test-taking skills, knowledge, and control of anxiety. The 5 C's are content, confidence, control, common sense, and comparison. It comprises another model for success in taking the NCLEX RN exam. So let's look at the evidence-based strategies for testing success. The 5 C's: content, know your stuff; confidence, believe in yourself; control, control your tension and anxiety; common sense, what does your intuition tell you; comparison, compare the last two choices before choosing. So practice with NCLEX style questions. Engage in 2 to 3 hours of question drill for every 1 hour of focused content study. Complete a minimum of 2,500 NCLEX RN style questions. This concludes this lesson. Review the test-taking tips lesson. The test-taking tips lesson will provide the student with skills that will assist in taking the ASN exams and the future RN NCLEX exam.